and that plant is another plant in the desert.
Pipes.
Pipes. Okay, thanks. Yes, correct. From a technical point of view, it's pipes. I fully agree with you. From a cultural point of view.
Pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same, yes. Why? There is one specific aspect from a cultural point of view which link all of the three.
Pretty in the middle of nowhere.
Pretty in the middle of nowhere, I agree with you. And this brings to what?
Do you know humans around each?
Sorry?
Do you know humans around, so those people living there. So
very good. So let's continue.
It doesn't matter how it looks.
The refinery. Yes, but we were talking about cultural point of view. They are in the remote place.
They're in the middle of the nature.
In the middle of the nature, please.
Maybe infrastructure.
Infrastructure, why?
Infrastructure because it connects places and enhances movement to future elements.
So you connect elements. You connect also what? More than the elements? In a remote place, in the middle of nowhere, with nobody else, you connect?
You connect people.
You connect people. This is not vodka collecting people, that's another story. This is people. Who make this plant are people. People everywhere, coming from everywhere, super specialists coming from everywhere in the same place in the remote part of the world for 36 months, 40 months. Do you think it's simple to manage these people? Why? Which type of problem you can find?
Well, different cultures, different way of works, different languages.
Exactly. Languages, culture, education, cuisine. Let's make it very simple. How you would build up a canteen for 10,000 people working together for 30, 40 months in one of the most remote parts of the world. To build a canteen for these people become a cultural issue. Seems to be very abstract, this point, but can create fight. But strong fight, because people who's working there and who is working in this type of project for many years, trust me, are not very nice people with whom you can deal easily. Hi, hello, how are you? I'm very well. You know, I have a little problem with the chair of the canteen you have. Can you please change the chair? No way. They take the chair, put out in the sea, and say, please buy another one. Okay. These people are like that. These are strong people. These people has 20 years or 13 years or 15 years of experience in a remote part of the world, and they want everything. Everything done. And if I'm Italian, I want to eat pasta and pizza. Sorry, I am in the middle of Siberia, but I want to eat pizza. If you're Indian, I want my curry. Come on, please. How can I do? I'm Filipino. Rice every day. Rice like rain. Okay. So it's like that. To build up a canteen is a problem. Can you imagine to make working all together this type of people for so much time in a cohesive way to reach one target? If you have a fight in an island, maybe of the United Arab Union, of 10,000 people, you don't know if you will find someone alive at the end. Because these guys doesn't care. They do. Whatever is in their mind, they do easily. Never seen in my life a site manager who is a person dealing and managing the site, a small guy, maybe very thin and with no strength. You just see, these guys has to be at least 2 meters, per 2 meters. Strong, because when they come, everybody has to say like that. Okay, sorry, we will find what we have to do. Cultural management in energy market, even if it's not advertised, even if it is not shown, is the most important facet of our business. The most important facet. So, now I want to deepen a little bit with you about intercultural management. The intercultural management global context has 3 challenges. The first, you need to deliver results. A client who invests $2, $3, $4 billion, they don't want to take care about nothing. I give you money, do your job, and the 26th of October 2019, I want to push the button and the plan has to work, whatever it is. So you need to deliver results with difference in culture. And then you need to make communication. Because sometimes these people are really in the remote part of the world, and to reach that part, you maybe need 3 days of travel. And I'm not talking about a place in the middle of Siberia, etc. Just you go in Kazakhstan, from Astana, and you start to go in the area of Almaty, which is on the east part of Kazakhstan, maybe 1 day. Just for that. Plus 1 day from Italy to Astana, it means that you reach the place in 2 days, and in 2 days this can happen, everything in this way. So you need to have a good communication. You need to build up communication stream with everyone. Because if you don't have this, you can face a lot of issues. And the third one, you need to build trust and accountability. Trust means that the person who was working here can call me and say, you know, Niccolò, I have my wife who needs to go to the doctor. Would you mind to please help me? Yes. And when it's yes, it means that his wife has to go to the doctor in maximum 24 hours. Because if the women who are next to this man are very strong, if they ask to go to the doctor, it means that they have really a problem. And you need to solve. You need to be trustable. You need to be accountable. Because if you are not, again, these people react. And reaction can be stronger and too strong for anybody else. So these are the 3 main challenges that I'm sure, after what we discussed before, you can understand how much important are for this type of people, for this market of $7 trillion of capitalization every year. People managing culture difference in people. So I wish to explain, however, I wish to give you some bit of information about Mr. Hofstede. Mr. Hofstede was and is a Dutch social psychologist. His name was born in 1928 in Dutch, and he is a pioneer, really a pioneer, on the cross-cultural organization. He was able to understand how to program and to make it, to understand how our mind is working from a cultural point of view. And this gives, at least on my experience, a value added to manage the people we were discussing before. So according to Gerhard Hofstede, our mind is defined as a software, our culture is defined as a software of the mind, which guide us every day. So, as you see in this pyramid, our mind for him is divided in 3 big categories: human nature, culture, and personality. So he, in his studies, he travels among the years of the history of the world. And he understood, and he has been able for the first time to put on place and to put on paper that every of us are animals. Very simple. We are animals. No difference than all the other, except that we can use the brain in a way which allow us to understand each other, to talk each other, and to build up, in this case, in plant or in the world, our world, the world that we know now. So he said that the human nature is universal and it comes from the beginning of the history. Then there is the culture. Every of us comes from its own culture, its own country. As I told before, an Italian in the middle of nowhere wants to eat pizza and pasta. This is culture. It's specific of Italians. It's like that. And you cannot change it. You learn it. When you learn, you know how to face. So, again, an Indian. India wants to eat. I'm just taking also this example, hopefully to provide you some bit of information. Then you can, of course, increase this wherever you want. Indians wants to eat curry, whatever. This is culture. You learn, and when you know that Indians is coming, you ask your canteen to cook curry. Very simple. And then the personality. The personality is specific of every individual. People said that in the early 1970s, 1980s, our parents were saying, you know, your personality will be modeled on how I teach you, I educated you. The new ideas about that is that the personality is owned by ourselves. Every of us has his own personality. You can limit, you can use your brain to change it, you can model yourself, but at the end, the personality is yours. And you are what your personality is. Part of your job, of your work. And again, considering there are many people coming from many countries in the same place, they have also a different way to talk. There are culture which is high context and culture which is low context. Does any one of you knows about high and low context way to communicate? No, I think no. So, the difference between high context and low context. A low context is a person who just says what he wants. I like you. I don't like you. And you know very well that he or she doesn't like you. And you can't do nothing. She or he doesn't like you. Period. While the high context period, a person would say, you know, in that specific situation we did not understand each other, but however in the future we can for sure work together in order to increase our possibility to develop a communication channel. I don't like you. It's the same. But one is low context and the other one is high context. So the high context is very implicit. Okay? So he or she wants to tell you something in the middle of the road, but then at the end, he or she doesn't tell you directly. He wants to, the relationship leads to effective task, and he wants to have work and life as a fusion. Normally, a very high context person lives to work, not work to live. And then he always wants to save his face. At the very end, this person is never right and he is never wrong. He's always there, floating, trying to understand where the wind is coming, and to be exactly in the perfect way to take the wind and to go where he wants. While the low context is extremely transparent. I don't like you. More transparent than this, what can you want? Nothing. It's very explicit. But the difference is that he balances work with life. So the same hours he used to live is the same hours he used to work. I think this is a very good approach to the life. Because, however, you work only once, you live only once in the life, and you have to, to deal also with your personal life. Is there any? Can you tell me some of your nationality? Chinese. German. Do you think Germany is high context or low context?
Low context.
Low context. Chinese are high context, okay. And some other nationality? Yeah.
I'm Jordanian.
Jordanian. Low context or high context?
Low context.
Low context. She doesn't agree with you. I think she doesn't agree with you. Yes? You are raising your hand? No. No, sorry. Any other example? Austrian. Austrian is high context or low context? Who say low?
High.
Who say high?
High.
Italian. Low context or high context? Low, high. Let's take an example of Italian. Low context or high context?
Low.
High context? Who says high context? Okay. Low context. Low. Okay. Let's see. Italy is in the middle. Strange enough, you find half of the people which is low context, half of the people which is high context. This is like some countries, there is very huge studies around that, who says exactly the low context. So the highest country which has the highest context communication is not China, it's Japan. You will never, never see a Japan say no. Never. He will always say yes, then come back and do something else. They will never say no. Never. It's impossible. Never. I have an experience. I have negotiated a contract with a Japanese guy, and it took me 3 days to understand. And when he was doing like that, it was means no. At the third day, I realized that, and I said, okay, now I understand you tell me no. Tell me what I have to say to tell you yes. But it takes me 3 days just for that. The communication was incredible. It was my first experience with the Japanese, and you need to deal with this communication. While the lowest context is the Swiss-German. So you go to Swiss in the German part, and this guy say, you know what? I don't like it. Period. And that's it. So this part of the communication is very important. And this high context, low context has to be taken into very much consideration also in the market in which we work. Because if you want to have effective communication, not to have problems, not to deal with difficulty, you need to open the communication channel with everyone. So if you have a US guy working with you, you cannot start to implicitly say to him something. Just say. He will not be offended to know what you think and what you want from him. But if you start to play with wording, this will offend him. If you work with a Mexican or a Japanese, it's the same. Exactly on the vice versa. You cannot say to them what you want them to do, but you have to ask in a way that they implicitly understand that you maybe ask them to do something without a deep understanding of how to communicate in the global world. So let's go out from energy market and let's be back in the team. If you do not understand how to communicate with your team member, you will never achieve one of the three elements we were discussing before, which is delivering result. Because they will, very easily, they will not understand it. They will not understand what you are asking them to do. If you are a team leader, if you are a colleague of them, how we can work together. So, the low context, high context, and the mental programming is very much part of the energy market, because energy market put in a very big effort, people, for the workplace. So in this specific atmosphere, the mental programming and high context, low context communication become a pearl to be able to work properly and safely. Because, let's come back to here, when you have a tower or a reactor high 30, 40, 80 meters, you cannot have people which fight each other while building up this part. Because you can have a problem. Someone can fall down, can damage himself, can have injuries. So again, communication, again, a way how to understand each other become one of the trademark and masterpiece of the living result. So I leave you my presentation. Is only the last slide. Then we can analyze your question if you have. I would be more than happy to work a little bit with you. Do you want to be yourself, or do you want to adapt to the others? So you want to say, I'm like that, period. And if you like, you like. If you don't like, I don't care. Or you want to adapt yourself to be like Italians in the middle, no? But then to have the risk that you are with other team members who want to pull you on their side, on the other side, and then you have some problems. You can have some issues. How to put yourself, how to position yourself inside the team. To position yourself of a team of 3 people is something, 100 people is something different. 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 people is again something different. So this is a dilemma that I leave to you and to your analysis for the future for you. And that's it. This is what I wish to do. So, any question, any idea? Yes, please.
You said at the beginning that the primary source of energy will be oil and gas until the year 2055. How do you come
35.
35. How do you come to that exact number? And what makes you so sure that alternative energy will move faster?
It's a very good question. The energy market works on forecasting. The forecasting, whatever it is, has a qualification. Okay. This qualification can drive the forecasting. Okay. So the most important qualification for the renewable energy is that right now we don't have the technology to utilize the renewable energy in a more efficient way. And it seems that it takes a long time to reach that 78–80% that it is in oil and gas for the solar and wind. This is the main point. Please.
In your construction areas, there are people who work together from many different countries, and of course they all speak other languages. So do you have one main language which is spoken on the construction area, or is it free and depend from country to country, or it is better to have one main language everybody talks?
You can try to say to everyone, you know, the language of the project is English. You will never achieve it. Very simple. Because if I'm Italian and I found an Italian, I will speak Italian. Easy. It's normal. If I am German and I find a German, I start to speak German. So, the language is a problem. Normally what it is done, the normal strategy is that you find that language that is used for the communication, then people can talk each other in their own language. Okay. Of course you have to teach and you have to request respect. Because again, someone can think that I talked with my friend about that guy, but it was absolutely not the case and can create some issues. But you will never achieve to say, you know, everybody here speaks English. Impossible. Any other question? Yes?
How do you see the development of this whole nuclear energy?
Sorry?
The development of nuclear energy in the future?
Let's see one slide before. This. Yellow part. Remains the same. Nuclear is a very good way to have energy, but the problem is the result. So all the barrel of this nuclear material, you have to stock something. And even if people are trying to find the most secure places in the world, it's still a problem from an environmental point. Unless we found the technology for the fusion, the fission energy, so this, as you see, remain more or less the same. There are many investments right now. The biggest one is in the south of France. It is $1.8 trillion of about 10 or 15 countries, among which there is Italy, there is France, there is US, who are trying to develop a nuclear plant based on fusion and not on fission. They are trying since many years. The problem is that the technology is not ready for that amount of energy in a so small place. You know, the fusion energy is like to have a little sun, not a little sun, but a little sun, in a box of this dimension. And if you don't know how to deal with that, you have a problem. So the forecasting does not see a huge increase of nuclear energy.